as the Northwest Sydney Spirit players made their way back down the tunnel at a rainy Barton Park in mid-August after securing qualification for the Australian Championship in its inaugural season. There were only two words on their lips: Preston Lions. Their fairy tale NPL New South Wales campaign would be capped by premiership silverware, an opportunity to compete under the national spotlight, and the chance to test themselves against one of the NPL's most famous names. Now it's Spirit who sit in second spot in Group C, and Preston who find themselves without a win and bottom of the group. A win today for the visitors would square that ledger. A win for the home side would see Preston all but eliminated and leave Spirit with 1 foot in the quarterfinals. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to an overcast and muggy Christie Park, where it's crunch time in round 4 of the Australian Championship, as NWS Spirit take on Preston Lions. One way or another, Spirit games have been appointment viewing so far. Luca Falcone's side netted a stoppage time equaliser in round 1, coming back from 2 goals down to lead 3-2 against Avondale before conceding a last-minute leveller themselves, and turned around an early deficit against Canberra, Croatia, to emerge 2-1 victors, surviving some late drama as Nick Pratejina struck the woodwork. What will be the outcome for them today? You can have your say by scanning the QR code or heading to australianchampionship.com.au and clicking on the Game Day tab to cast your vote. Spirit have survived the departure of their longtime head coach David Perkovic and their top scorer Ua Kubo, proving just how strong this club's foundations really are. The team news, and it's 2 changes to the starting lineup for Northwest Sydney as 2 former Preston players come into the team. The lineup shows a 4-3-3. We're expecting a 3-4-3 as Jamie Pachevsky returns from injury to the heart of the back three at the expense of Kai Williams, while Aidan Kyra, who scored 3 goals in his last 2 games as a super sub, starts up front ahead of Kai Denton. Jackson Brown, Spirit's saviour in round 1, is unavailable through illness, as is Jacob Chidiak, which means that homegrown Spirit junior Austin Oates, who's represented the club at every age group since under 13s, gets his opportunity on the bench. To the Preston news, the visitors make 2 changes to the starting lineup, with striker Luke Francis and winger Gian Albano dropping to the bench, replaced by Giorgio Serdenis and Leighton Brooks. Adisubeyu retains his place in attack, as does Jason Romero in that number 10 spot, despite missing 2 big chances for a late winner against Avondale last week. With an average age of just 22 in the front 3, there's pressure on young shoulders today to find the back of the net. There's Luca Falcone on the Spirit bench. He's had big shoes to fill in the dugout, replacing David Perkovic, who was at the helm for 9 years, but he's unbeaten since being elevated from the assistant role and has ensured continuity in the dugout for the New South Wales Premiers. Wojciechowski, meanwhile, there on the left of those 3. He celebrated his 300th game as head coach last Friday. 182 of those in charge of the Preston Lions. Since taking over midway through 2017, he's led Preston to 3 promotions and 2 championships, elevating the club from State League obscurity to an NPL Victoria semi-final and a place in the Australian Championship. Today's referee is Declan Woods. Assistant referees Alessandro Lana and Will Samsa, and the 4th official is Blake Sanchez Cruz. Well, the stage is set for a classic here, with Group A leaders South Melbourne awaiting the side who can wrap up second spot. Will Spirit put 1 foot in the quarterfinal, or will Preston close that gap? Hold on to your hats, folks. We could be in for a wild ride on the synthetic surface this afternoon. And we're away. Spirit in the yellow and black, kicking from left to right. Preston in the all-red home strip, despite playing away from home. Visitors had opportunities to make the point safe against Spirit in their last meeting in round one. Spurned both of them. They had the lead, but left the door ajar for Spirit substitute Caleb Jackson-Brown, who popped up in stoppage time. A neatly taken goal on debut to take a share of the spoils back to Christie Park. Defeat followed against Canberra, Croatia in round two. They bounced back with a scoreless draw against Avondale last week. But time is running out here for Macedonia to find their best form as Spirit starts strongly, and it's good combination play, and Kyra fires into the side netting after being teed up by Ollie Wigan. Inside the first minute, Spirit already with the first chance of the game. Superb skill from Wigan. Takami's ball back. Wigan spoons it over the top, and Aidan Kyra couldn't put his shot on target. Shout for a push from Giorgio Sodenis on Kavanagh. No whistle there either for Leighton Brooks. Preston applying the press. Chevsky cleans it up, and now Kyra with his back to goal holds it up. Gets Spirit forward up the pitch. Spirit have made a habit of poaching the very best talent from New South Wales League One. Aidan Kyra. Kyra being one of those players who has come up from the second tier, signing in the bespoke window between league season and championship to help replace the departing Akubo. He scored 18 goals for Blacktown City. He's already got 3 for his new side. See how he does against fresh defenders today. Not coming off the bench this time around, but it's fair to say he's earned that starting position. Preston supporters travelling in force. I'm sure the friends from the local Macedonian teams like Rockdale, Illingdon and Bankstown City have come out to support Preston as well. To make it a home away from home at Christie Park. They've got support wherever they go, the Preston Lions. It's the blessing and curse of playing for this club. The jersey is heavy, the responsibility never ignored. Also got that boost in terms of having the fans behind them at just about any venue across the country. Cynical challenge there from Bozanovsky on the number 22, Takumi Afuka. Looks like he's going to escape a booking. Underway with Grant Cornwell, the captain. Wigan. Foligno perhaps overcommitted there. Now Kyra. Oh, Cornwell's continued his run, and there could be a chance for the skipper. And the offside flag is up. Well, he would have been the unlikeliest of goal scorers. Only 1 goal all season in the NPL. Only usually gets forward from set-piece situations. The 34-year-old who arrived at the club at the age of 14 has played an estimated 450 games for this side. Almost had a fairy tale moment. Cornwell. Kavanagh and Takami combining in midfield. It's a good ball for Kyra, who's going to unleash the strike from the angle, and Tchaikovsky stands in the way. Sure, they've played against each other before. Tchaikovsky's time with Rockdale. Scooper from Takami. Can't find a way through. Wigan chasing back. Now Bayu. Adisu Bayu wrestled to the ground. There's a shirt pull from Wigan. And he'll go into the book. A yellow card shown by referee Declan Woods for the first time this afternoon. You can hear the Spirit bench over the effects mic there, calling for a bit of consistency, saying Bozanovski should have been receiving the same treatment from the referee a few moments ago. But there was no way that Ollie Wigan was getting away with that one. He accepted his punishment without complaint. All the way back to Ryan Scott in the Preston goal, a name familiar to A-League fans. His 76 appearances with Western United and Newcastle Jets. What an impression he's made at Preston. His debut was one to forget against Oakley. He finished 4-0 behind closed doors in that game. Then came a run of 6 straight clean sheets for Ryan Scott. Almost broke the Victorian record. It's 20 minutes shy of Jeff Olver's run for Bulleen in 1994. He went 7 games without conceding a goal. And Scott made it to 679 minutes goalless, which is a fair effort for him in the Preston backline. Dom Foligno, a member of that back four, continuing to deputise at left back. That's not his favoured side. It's going to be a corner for Northwest Sydney Spirit to be taken by Aiden Mustafi. He's got a wicked delivery with his left boot, as he showed in open play last week against Canberra, Croatia, teeing up a brilliant volley for Aiden Kyra. See what he can do off the dead ball scenario. Mustafi with 2 arms up and the ball to the back post. Scott's come to punch, not cleared. Kyra's header. And Leighton Brooks plays it over his own head. Adisu Bayou's on his bike. Well dealt with at the back by Spirit. And they've got numbers to aim for in the penalty area now. Pachevsky has stayed forward. And he's the target of the cross. Pachevsky couldn't get a clean head to it. Foligno strides clear with possession. Bayu. Jego with the eyes up and spotting a switch of play out to Stefan Nigro. And Leighton Brooks, who was benched last week, going to work. Preston dispossessed. Fuka. Will drag back. Playing in Kavanagh. This is good combination play. Preston wanted a flag. Play goes on as Connor Starbo hammers one goalwards. By Tchaikovsky again. Of course, with the header, Pachevsky taking no chances. Wigan. Kavanagh. Playing it into the feet of his striker. Has the pocket picked by Tchaikovsky. That challenge over the ball there. Play goes on. Not too many complaints from Spirit. Connor Starbo with the early delivery. Tchaikovsky away. He's been busy early. Preston central defender. Brooks couldn't beat his man. Thundering challenge comes in. Shout for a handball, not paid, and then volleyed high and wide. Siafuka making the point there, the earlier challenge. This one was clean as a whistle from Mustafi, both times. All ball. Might have handled it. In the end, it's immaterial. Well, Spirit with the better of the early exchanges, as you might expect on their home deck. Preston are not used to playing on artificial surfaces. plastic pitch in the top division in Victoria. Commonplace in New South Wales, though. Kavanagh will cut back. Jago back to defend that dangerous ball into the box. Takami distributing from the base of midfield. Cornwell. It's going to be a Spirit ball. Healthy crowd in at Christie Park this afternoon. And the last of two late kickoffs on Sunday. That's where we've got Bayswater City playing host to Sydney United. Sydney United, I'm hearing, down to 10 men early on in that one. And the other game in this group, the early kickoff yesterday, and Avondale flexed their muscles, a 4-1 win over Canberra, Croatia, that sends them clear at the top of the group. And a result probably suits both of these sides. It's for them not to have a third contender for that second spot, although Canberra, Croatia on the live ladder remain in third with 3 points, thanks to their win over Preston. Jago forcing it forwards. Bayou, smart pass for Romero. Couldn't find a way through. Spirit will be all too aware of the threat that Jason Romero poses. 3 goals in his last 4 appearances against Northwest Sydney Spirit. That's stretching back a couple of years over 3 different clubs, obviously in round 1 for Preston in the Australian Championship, but also in past NPL New South Wales outings for St George and Apia. Most of his career that's taken place in Australia in New South Wales, Jason Romero, before going south of the border in 2025. It's been a testy one early. A lot of physical challenges flying in, as you might expect when this competition hits crunch time. Sets of players acutely aware of just how important this outing is. Against a red card being shown. Had a couple already today in the Australian Championship. One for Broadmeadow Magic away at Moreton City Excelsior, which proved very costly for the Northern New South Wales side. For Sydney United, as I mentioned. And one late on for Apia in their draw. Home to Metro Starts. Wigan throws the step over. Aside from his booking, he's been very bright in the opening exchanges. And Ollie Kubalay in disbelief as Declan Woods blows the whistle. It's just a little too quick, and Kubalay couldn't get out of the way, despite his best efforts. Carrot is there for Preston this afternoon. South Melbourne have secured progress to the quarterfinals. They're top of Group A. Preston can sneak into second spot in Group C. It would set up a mouth-watering derby in the quarterfinal at Lakeside. Felina. Spirit have shown they're such a well-drilled outfit in the Premiership in New South Wales, with really a fraction of the playing budget of their rivals. Some achievement. Felina. Adisu Bayou has an optimistic go from outside the box. skidding drive that ends up straight in the gloves of Chris Marks. Even with a healthy crowd in this afternoon, you can hear the bellowing voice of Louis Itsevsky. Spirit bench more circumspect. Cornwell back to Marks. Wozanovsky rising highest for the header. It'll be a Spirit throw. Preston have not won away in New South Wales, would you believe, since 1990. It's an NSL Cup game in December against Marconi at the Palace. Rob Markovac scoring the winner for Preston that day with the late John Gardner in the dugout. Football Victoria Hall of Fame coach who passed away this week. So 35 years since Preston last tasted success in a competitive game in New South Wales. Can they break that long, long drought this afternoon? Jego. Into the feet of Romero. And settle for the throw. Had 3 big chances to win the game for Preston in that final 15-minute flurry against Avondale that ended scoreless. Desperately unlucky with a clip over the on-rushing goalkeeper that hit the bar. He'll be eager to make up for those misses as he goes for goal and scores! Jason Romero making amends for last week with a spectacular strike to give Preston the lead on the road. Just the tonic for Preston, just what the doctor ordered. Found well by Luke Jego. He sidesteps one challenge from Cornwell, sends him in the other direction to open up the space for the shot. And you do not want to give Jason Romero room from outside the box. He loves a long-range goal, and that's another fine highlight to add to his collection. Second goal in the Australian Championship, his 8th in all competitions for Preston this year. And that's one that Preston desperately, desperately needed. Rather muted celebrations as well on the faces of the Preston players. They know there's a long, long way still to go in this one. And they've been second best in the opening 18 minutes. Jason Romero didn't need a second invitation. Kavanagh threaded forward. Ofuka. Mustafi to cross. The first defender in Jego. And that gets a warm reception from the Preston support in the corner there. It's been his defensive work rate that's really stood out this year, Luke Jego. Just the 1 goal compared to 5 last year in VPL 1 as Preston were promoted. He's made so many last-ditch interventions. A deeper role in midfield this season. Chevsky heads up the line. Despite Pachevsky and Kyra being former Preston players and Preston having so much recent success, neither of them were involved in one of those 3 promotions spearheaded by that man, Louis Itsevsky. There's still a picture of tension, sharing the instructions on the edge of his technical area. Might be about to take the throw in himself, I think. Well, there's a stoppage in the game for Andre Takami. Imagine it's a blood rule. Spirit down to 10 while he's patched up. Advancing infield. Kubalay. Bozanovsky. Dropping off to provide a passing option. Preston work it wide through Jago, and now Romero. He's roaming wherever he can find space. Too much on it for Adisu Bay to have much chance of reeling it in. He's a new addition in the bespoke window. Ollie Wigan there has an interesting story of his own, coming back from 2 ACLs. Oh, good use of the body from Sir Dennis. The shot was always sailing wide. Given the nod in the starting lineup this afternoon ahead of the Englishman Luke Francis. It's yet to really happen for him in front of goal for Preston. He's been there 2 years now. 2 goals this season in the league, 3 in the cup. Missed round 2 away to Canberra, Croatia for his brother's wedding. Came off the bench for 20 minutes against Avondale last week, and now given the nod up front. Coaches love him for his work ethic, even if he's not getting amongst the goals. At just 21 years of age, we're yet to see the best of Giorgio Sir Dennis. Cornwell. Kavanagh. Finding Afuka. Afuka gets the shot away. What a save that is. It looked bound for the bottom corner, if not for Ryan Scott. Let's see it again on the replay. A quick shift to the ball, and Scott at full stretch to claw that one out of the bottom corner. Still a corner to defend. Takami to take. He's been patched up on the sideline and back out on the field of play. Bozanovsky given a free header to clear. Brooks. Mustafi. Swung back in by Takami. Headed across goal by Cornwell. There's an unmarked man at the back stick. Scott has done it again. Jamie Perchevsky denied. It's an incredible save. What a reflex save that is. Take a bow, Ryan Scott. Struck so firmly by Jamie Perchevsky, he can't believe he hasn't scored. Will it happen for Spirit this time? Headed across goal and just dipping onto the roof of the net. Again, it's Perchevsky who goes close. Well, that's why Preston kept 6 clean sheets consecutively at the back end of the campaign. 2 glorious openings for Jamie Perchevsky to net against his former club. Goodness me. That's why Ryan Scott's been so successful in Victoria. 3-time NPL Victoria champion, a 2-time Doherty Cup winner, and a 2-time Jimmy Rooney medalist for Player of the Match in a grand final in NPL Victoria, all with the Bentley Greens before he got his A-League chance. Wigan to drill it in. No way past Bayou. Stood up by Simon Nicholas. Wigan with Shimmy. Finds the on-rushing Kavanagh. Delicate clipped ball into the channel. Tchaikovsky will almost vault the fence in his efforts to clear the danger. Luca Falcone having words with the fourth official. Well, not a lip reader, but the body language suggested that he was complaining about some holding in the penalty area. Stoffy ready to deliver. And Preston survived the barrage. Ball to the back stick. Oh, it's off the crossbar. Goodness me, the woodwork's still rattling. Mustafi. Pozanovsky away, only as far as Takami. Jago got a foot in. Brooks off of Fuka and into touch. Preston living by the skin of their teeth. How did that stay out? It's as if there's a force field surrounding the Preston net. Spirit will be wondering how on earth they haven't equalised. Done everything but score. Something surely has to change in the Preston defence if they're going to keep their clean sheet intact for much longer. Only the goalkeeper and the woodwork to thank. Nicholas, Afuka. Chevsky. Fuka helped it through. Kyra cleaned up by Matt Pozanovsky, who pleads his innocence. Kyra's short stint at the Preston Lions came back in a nightmare 2023 season for the club. Made a great first impression. Scored from the halfway line against Melbourne City's youth team at the Veneto Club, and then didn't find the back of the net again. Very animated in the dugout, both managers. Emotions running high, tensions running higher. Another Spirit set piece. Pachevsky in there, and he lost his bearings. Needed to flick that to have any chance of putting it on target. He was a long way ahead of the near post. Another great ball in from Andre Takami. The deliveries have been absolutely superb from both sides. Preston are under siege at the moment, but their goal is living a charmed life. Stoffy packed up the line. Kyra, superb strength, but Romero eventually came in to dispossess him. Scott. Stoffy. Nicholas. Spirit are no strangers to being behind in games. They've conceded first in all three of their Australian Championship group stage outings. Away at BT Connor, at home to Avondale and Canberra, Croatia. More promising build-up play involving Kavanagh and Kyra comes to nothing. Long punt from Ryan Scott, picks out Leighton Brooks. Up against Nicholas, contact in the penalty area off the ball. Fuka too strong. Negro comes in to win possession. If you're a Preston supporter watching at home and your fingernails are still intact, I salute you. For Spirit fans, they'll be looking to the heavens. This game so decisive in what's to come in Group C. Kick quickly taken to Kami, lays it back to Nicholas. Mustafi couldn't keep it alive. Romero. Nicholas. Afuka. Ubalay steps in. Preston just need to take a few breaths here and regain their composure. Romero finds the overlapping run of Stefan Negro. Dangerous delivery. Sir Dennis. Romero! 2-0. Smash and grab. Preston have barely sighted the Spirit goal, but Jason Romero has a double. So clinical. Stefan Negro with the cross that caused all sorts of panic. Adisu Bayu with the first contact. And really clever from Giorgio Sir Dennis not to try and take the strike on the turn. Instead, to just cushion it off the thigh for his better placed teammate. And Romero slams it in from close range to give Preston a 2-goal cushion that they scarcely deserve. Well, the coaching staff will be happy with the scoreline. They won't be best pleased with the performance. Macedonia on the ropes, but a head on the board. And the travelling fans are loving it. Takami. Oh, that's a great ball. Kyra's in there. Negro across. Oh, there's a bad injury here for Jago. Luke Jago has broken his leg. That's awful. Oh, that's awful for Luke Jago. A freak landing, and he has snapped his leg in two. The Preston players knew immediately, and we're going to have a long stoppage in this game as Luke Jago is treated. Just stunned reactions on the faces of the supporters. This is an awful, awful moment here. Just got his leg caught in the turf as he tried to slide in and block the cross. his momentum continued forward and his foot was still planted. It's going to be a long road to recovery for Luke Jego, the Preston captain. And such a key figure in Preston's recent success. He was signed in 2024 in VPL 1 for Preston's promotion winning campaign, scored 5 goals in the league and was a driving force in attacking midfield. Former Victory youth player, played overseas in Norway. One of the best attacking midfielders in Victoria with Green Gully. And it's going to be a real emotional test for these Preston players as Brandon Lawton is readied as the replacement. Sevsky and Sasha Ognanovsky trying to keep the players focused on the game and not on their stricken teammate, who they'll be really feeling for at the moment. Well, this is going to be a lengthy delay, so we're going to take a short break here on the broadcast as Luke Jego is treated for a broken leg. And we'll be back when the first half resumes here at Christie Park. It's a Jason Romero double. It's proved the difference. The score so far is Northwest Sydney Spirit 0, Preston Lions 2. Well, play set to resume here after a horrific lower leg injury for Luke Jago, who's been stretching off. A really beloved figure at BT Connaught Reserve. And thoughts go out to him and our wishes for the speediest of recoveries. On comes Brandon Lawton in his place. And we will resume with a Aidan Mustafi set piece. Mustafi to swing it in as we're back underway. Headed over by the captain, Grant Cornwell. Well, it's been from set-piece situations that Preston have led a charmed existence defensively. Jamie Pachevsky rattling the bar and forcing a miracle save out of Ryan Scott, who earlier denied Takumi Afuka very acrobatically at his near post. 2 sights a goal, 2 goals for Preston in this first half. Jason Romero netting both. A fine response from him after having a bit of criticism during the week for missing those chances against Avondale. He's proved his worth. Takami for Kyra. Frankowski went to ground for a moment. Cut back towards Kavanagh. Doesn't stick. Awkward bounce for Sir Dennis. Felino, here's the danger. Giorgio Sir Dennis will chase it down. Pachevsky. Chris Marks, not the most convincing clearance, and Ollie Kubelay's first touch let him down. Lawton. Brandon Lawton again, former Melbourne Victory man. The Swiss Army knife in terms of the positions he can occupy. Right back, left back. Preferred spot in central midfield today off the bench. Brooks Oh, Leighton Brooks is going to go for goal. Never really got hold of that one. He can hit them from distance, that's for sure. An electric start to his Preston career since joining from Cavalry FC in the Canadian Premier League. Scored 4 in his first 5 Preston appearances. The rate rather slowed down after that. 8 goals makes him Preston's top scorer in NPL Victoria this season. Side whose success was built more on defensive resilience than firepower in front of goal. Hayden Kyra has been an ever-present threat. Spirit, though, have nothing to show for their efforts in this first half. Too high for Hayden Mustafi. From Sydney FC and Western Sydney Wanderers youth player. Spent some time in Germany as well, played for Australia as an under-15. So Dennis wrestled to the ground this time. Rolled short to Romero. Tchaikovsky. It's turned over very cheaply, and Kyra will have a chance to shoot. And it was well wide of the mark in the end, but struck firmly and with purpose on the spin from Aiden Kyra. He's getting closer. Takumi Fuka popping up in those pockets of space, just in the spot outside the penalty area, and Kyra on the swivel. He's a man in form. 3 in his last 2 as a substitute, starting today. He's had ample opportunity so far to test Ryan Scott, to no avail. Good cover from Simon Nicholas there. It's the left centre half stepping in. This 3-4-3 system has a lot of rewards for Spirit this campaign. All 3 of their front 3 hit double digits and then some. So Dennis, skidder straight through to Marks. Had a curious afternoon so far, Chris. Marks has barely had a save to make, aside from those hit straight at him, and the goal's flying in past him. Showed his quality with some ridiculous stops last week against Canberra, Croatia. A double save in particular from Shoki Yoshida and Lukman Ahmed Shaibu comes to mind. And a contested header from Kavanagh. Romero. Fine footwork from the American. Back from Tchaikovsky. He's on a hat-trick already today. Forward for Edisu Bayu. Late off for Sir Dennis. Preston in a threatening position now. It's teed up for Leighton Brooks. He didn't take it on the volley and instead took it into traffic. Might get a second bite at this as Romero wins the tackle. Frustrated long shot from Brooks, who was rather optimistic. Spirit come the other way. Oh, Leighton Brooks should have backed himself. Rarely needs a second invitation to have a go for goal. Nicholas. Luca Falcone with plenty to ponder. Now it's flagging that our match clock may not be entirely accurate due to the stoppage in play. We'll keep you posted with how much time is really left. Wigan. Great run from Wigan. Nothing really to aim for in the box. Squirrels its way through to Mustafi. Left wing back position of Fuka. Takami. Oh, clever reverse. Mustafi. Cut back to the top of the box. Corey Kavanagh. Let fly with the left boot. Didn't get his shot on target. Serving servant of Spirit since 2019. It's the man in charge, Declan Woods, who's been plenty busy. Blood rules, serious injury. And booking for Ollie Wigan. A lot to put in his match report later today. Cornwell, who's effectively known as Subby around the club. A name from his younger days that is stuck. Get off for Contestabo. Contestabo went to the deck. Contact was outside the area. Well, he's been quiet so far, Michael Contestabo. Preston will be under no illusions about the threat that he poses. He showed it there with some very quick footwork. Kyra went to ground first, and then Contestabo through the narrowest of gaps. Markovsky frustrated, Kugelay protesting his innocence. Spirit have a shooting chance right on the edge of the 18-yard area. Corey Kavanagh and Aidan Mustafi stand over this one. 5 in the wall for the Preston Lions. And the Spirit finally find a way past Ryan Scott in the Preston goal. Mustafi, another superb stop. Struck goalwards again and way off the mark, prompting the Bronx cheer from the Preston travelling faithful. Ryan Scott refuses to be beaten today. Well, compared to his other saves, that was relatively straightforward. Hit firmly by Mustafi, but at a good height for the goalkeeper, as they say. It's been an interrupted week for Spirit. They only trained once due to an electrical storm in Sydney, interrupting their session on Friday night. You might have seen the hour-long lightning delay for the Marconi Heidelberg kickoff. Here at Christie Park, a lightning strike took out the light tower, and then it struck the roof of the club rooms, apparently, where the players were sheltering from the storm. It made a deafening crack when it did so. So at that point, the coaches decided it's not happening tonight and sent the players for a team meal instead. Wigan. So hard to get the ball off Ollie Wigan. Such a slippery dribbler. Needs to emphasise that he's not a right fullback. He's a winger who's been converted to wing back. Distinction that seems important to him. You can see his attacking prowess when he gets on the ball. Aidan Kyra again failed. He's drawn so many free kicks today. Shielding the ball effectively. Great play with his back to goal. Yet again, West Sydney Spirit plot an aerial route into the Preston area from the dead ball. Sakami to take this one. Swinger off the right. It's a good delivery too. I think it was Aidan Kyra who headed over. Maybe Mustafi got the touch. The marking in the Preston penalty area has been less than impressive in this first half. Thank goodness for Ryan Scott. Joining us late, your eyes don't deceive you. It is still the first half. And a long injury stoppage for the luckless Luke Jego. He will stretch it off after a freak accident. Felino. Good ball from Felino, and so Dennis's marker had a fistful of his shirts. Now he's brought to the deck, and that will draw the whistle of Declan Woods. Pachevsky with knee-to-knee contact, it looked like. Let's hope it's not another serious injury for the Preston Lions. I think it was just a contact foul. He jarred it there. Certainly. Another agricultural challenge from Pachevsky. So Dennis is fine to continue. Romero and Negro over the free kick. It's going to be Stefan Negro to take. His cross led to Romero's second goal. The Melbourne victory stalwart. Straight onto Marks, who can only fingertip that one wide and behind for a corner. Good goalkeeping. It's a menace of a delivery from Negro. And the right decision made by Chris Marks. Couldn't hold that one. Lawton will leave it for Romero. Preston do not have a left-sided player among the 11 out there on the field, so they'll have to take this one as an outswinger. Romero. Kozanovsky up there. Lawton couldn't get on the end of it. And Declan Woods brings this protracted first half to a close. What an incredible turn of events we've seen in so many ways. Jason Romero, the difference with a double. Otherwise, Preston were second best. Spirit peppered the Macedonia goal, but only Ryan Scott stood tall and in the way. Then a devastating injury for Luke Jego. Brought a halt to proceedings midway through the first half. Our best wishes with him for his recovery. But Preston have been clinical on their travels, and their Australian Championship campaign might have a lifeline here. It's Northwest Sydney Spirit 0, Preston Lions 2 as we head into half-time.
They're the breakout success story representing football's future. Northwest Sydney Spirit aren't just some flash in the pan. It's been a 2-decade rise to the top of men's football in New South Wales. Some have attributed the spirit of a bygone era to this club. But this is an institution from the grassroots, teaching players and coaches how to build something for the long term. The honour roll is short, but it's all recent. Waratah Cup winners in 2022, promoted in the same year.
The team from the second tier create history and become the 15th team to win the Waratah Cup.
Australia Cup national rounds for a second time in 2024. And now, premiers of New South Wales.
Party time at Christie Park.
Spirit are stepping onto the national stage again to build their budding resume in the Australian Championship. The loudest noise in the Australian Championship is coming from a Lions roar. Preston Lions are the team for the big occasion. The crowds, the spectacle, the rivalries.
I haven't been this excited for a football game in this country for years.
But it wasn't as simple as just turning up. A little over a decade ago, Preston were at risk of losing their club, consigning 13 years in the NSL and 4 Victorian championships to the history books. So a community rallied, and the team responded on the pitch by winning.
And it's Matty Whelan! Preston win it in the final minute!
All the way back to NPL Victoria, where acquaintances were renewed with old foes.
Oh, how about that? The Panenka on the biggest stage of all.
Preston haven't played on the national stage since 1993. You don't want to miss their return in the Australian Championship.
I'm a son of an immigrant that came from Greece with nothing but hopes and dreams. And football created not just the chance to watch your team, it was a hub where people met future brides, future husbands. It was a hub where you got jobs. It was a hub where it gave you confidence, where you felt that you could speak your native tongue and not be worried about what anyone else would say. But now the championship allows those teams with that multicultural DNA to really embrace, celebrate, honour those before and those after.
The beautiful thing about these clubs, Sydney United, Marconi, Apia, the kit that I'm wearing today, the beautiful thing about them is they're not just for Italians. They're not just for those communities that found them, and it's expanded. Like, just speaking on behalf of Apia, Joe Marsden, the first ever Australian to play in an FA Cup final, was an Italian. Rally Rasic, one of the most famous managers in Australian football history. And then even you take it now to the Apia and Marconi teams of today, they've expanded now to be not just a team for Italians, which is what they were founded on, but a team for everyone, for any Australian football fan, for any nationality. You look at the national team, for example, look at the names. Chikati, Irankunda, Mohamed Toure. It's such an exciting, young, multicultural Australian national team. And that's what this country was founded on, but I also think when you look at these clubs, that's what football in this country was founded on as well. So I think it's a really exciting time.
That's my favourite part about what's happening now, the momentum with these clubs. When I played there, it was very much focused on the past. What I notice now when I walk through those gates, there's a lot of talk about the future. You know, even when things sometimes don't go to plan in Australia, even when mistakes are made, football is still this beast that it's never going away. The next generation of kids, they're growing up playing football video games. Yep. They're collecting vintage football kits. They're wanting to engage on all social media platforms with the world of football because it's the game that the world talks about. It's the game that the world cares about.
There's always that will to win every competition you're in, particularly at a club like Preston. We don't really like second or third or fourth. I don't like second or third or fourth. We want to be the team. We want to be the team that everyone fears. We want to be the team that everyone respects.
Look, I think it's exciting for everyone, not just for me. We'll be the first one, which is exciting to be part. I hope we can have a good run and we can win the first one. For me, success is like create something bigger more than win a title.
It's not about dwelling on the past. It's about understanding why we are where we are. Why are we at 6 straight World Cups? You know, why have we produced all these good players? Well, it's because we've had this great professional league, the A-League, but we've also had all these clubs before it that have produced generations of players. That's why it's in our blood.
Half-time at Christie Park, and it's Preston Lions who came into the match bottom of the group, who lead on the road. A double from Jason Romero, the difference. Healthy crowd in to this round 4 Australian Championship clash. With so much on the line for Preston, they needed their big guns to step up, and Jason Romero did that and then some. Under the cosh for the first 15. But his turn, swivel and long-range strike from well outside the penalty area was too hot for Chris Marks. A brilliant goal to put Preston a goal to the good. And he scores again against Northwest Sydney Spirit. Had 3 in his last 4 against them. Now he's got 5 in 5. He'll get to his second goal, but first, Preston had Ryan Scott to thank for keeping them in the contest. This one of a string of outrageous saves to deny Takumi Afuka that time. Full stretch. And then this one probably the pick of the bunch. Cornwell heads it across. Pachevsky slams it from point-blank range and can't convert. A brilliant reflex save from Ryan Scott. And here comes the second goal, a sucker punch for Spirit, as it's laid off by Giorgio Serdenis off the Stefan Negro cross. Romero slams it home for 2. And that's just the tonic for Preston Lions in their Australian Championship campaign. They would lose Luke Jego to horrific injury moments later, which saw the game suspended. We had a delay in the first half as a result. You can see in the first half stats that Spirit have had more shots, but Preston have been more clinical, 7 on target to 3. And really, those stats don't quite tell you the full story. 5 corners to 1 for Spirit. They've had all sorts of set-piece opportunities. They hit the crossbar, and they can't find a way past Preston's in-form goalkeeper. Let's have a look at some of the highlights from round 4 in the Australian Championship. It was a heavyweight bout on Friday night, and 2 in-form goalkeepers, much like we've seen today. Here's Ryan Scott. Darren Souza up to the task from the first one from Anton Milinaric, but there was nothing he could do about that brilliant glancing header from Harry van der Sarg. Seconds later that gave Marconi the lead. Then a brilliant team move to respond from the Australia Cup finalists. The cross from Angus Taylor and the finish from Marcus Humbert. But what about that at the other end? Jimmy Hilton, acrobatic to deny the long-range effort from Lesiotis. Then it was Avondale's turn to turn on the style away at Deakin Stadium. Bruno Fornaroli with a classy control and finish off the fearless header from Blake Carpenter. Into the second half, went in at 2-0. This is the third goal. Amir Abdullah finding the unmarked Sian Cuba at the back stick. They went on to win 4-1. And a classic Greek derby. Sydney Olympic hit the front against top of the group South Melbourne through Ali Orgla. 4 goals in 4 games for him, and they've all been very, very special. But just as in round 1, Jordan Lampard came to the fore for South Melbourne against Sydney Olympic. That with his weaker right boot, and then teeing up the second for Bilal Habib, the substitute, who scores from long range in the 93rd minute to deliver Sinisa Kohadzic and South Melbourne progression to the quarterfinals. And didn't Kohadzic love it there? What a celebration from the man in the dugout. There's what it's done to the table. South Melbourne top of the group on 12 points. Moreton City Excelsior moved to second ahead of Olympic with their win over Broadmeadow Magic today. In Group B, Heidelberg keep Marconi at arm's length with the draw. Wollongong Wolves winning against South Hobart to give themselves a chance of progression in the final 2 games. In Group C, Preston Lions are ahead on the live ladder over Northwest Sydney Spirit. They would jump from 4th place to 2nd. Avondale topping the pile. And in Group D, Bayswater City and Sydney United are still in action. West Arthur got a draw against Metro Stars with a late leveller today. There's the full round of results. Remember, we're raising money for Movember as well. You can head to australiachampionship.com.au and participate in our $500,000 fundraising drive. It's the full set of fixtures as they stand. Bayswater City leading Sydney United by 2-0 currently out at Frank Drago. But it's been goals galore across the entire Australian Championship in round 4. Second half action is coming up on the other side. It's all to do for Spirit. Preston will be reeling after that injury, but the Jason Romero double has them sitting pretty on the scoreboard. Second half coming up at Christie Park. It's Spirit 0, Preston Lions 2. second half moments away at Christie Park. Preston Lions lead. There's the Brains Trust in the dugout. Lujatsevski deep in conversation with Christian Kristevski and Sasha Ognanovsky, the former Asian Footballer of the Year. Will be a name familiar to Socceroos and A-League fans. Well, a big second half coming up for Spirit. They've come from behind before. They came from behind from 2 goals down against Avondale. You could argue they've had the better opportunities today. You'd probably be right. Luca Falcone wondering what more he can do to put his team in a position to succeed. They've come up against an inspired goalkeeper in Ryan Scott. Some profligacy in front of goal as well to blame. You can see there the Preston kit sporting the names of all of the contributors to their inaugural Australian Championship jersey. So they've got the names of the fans literally inscribed on the kit Preston Lions, which is a nice touch. Declan Woods with a look at the watch. Jason Romero, the player of the match so far, to get us back underway. With his double-proved match winning. Can Spirit mount another impressive comeback, or will Preston get the win away from home? Their campaign so sorely needs to reignite their hopes of quarter-final qualification. Josh Parrish here on the microphone this afternoon. It's been a very enjoyable contest so far, with the notable exception of that injury, and there could be another injury here for Giorgio Serdenis for a high foot. That looked a painful one. What further action will Declan Woods take? Here it is again in slow-mo. It's a nasty one. I don't think Kavanagh saw Giorgio Serdenis coming. It will have to be assessed for the head knock. Looks like he's okay to continue. He's a tough customer, Giorgio Serdenis. Should have some sympathy for his opponent there, because Giorgio Serdenis himself was sent off for a high boot earlier in the season, which was a bit of a luckless incident for him. Ended up planting his studs on the face of an Altona Magic player, John Stojcevski. Romero. Floated delivery. Bozanovski's free off the woodwork. And the flag was up for offside, I believe. So it wouldn't have counted from Matt Bozanovski. Must have been offside from the Adisu Bayu flick. Romero. Has Kubalay in the middle, unmarked. Negro. Wants to put it into the box. It swung straight into the arms of the goalkeeper, Chris Marks. An extraordinary run. Is that a handball from Negro? Well, you can vote in our fan poll. Who do you think will win? So far, 63% of you see Preston coming over the top, but Spirit might have something to say about that here. Afuka. Standing up Negro. There's no way past the A-League veteran. Nicholas. Cornwell. Out to Wigan. They switch the point of attack very effectively here. Spirit. That's not the best defensive header from Jake Tchaikovsky. He breathes a sigh of relief. Spirit legend Grant Cornwell would love a goal today. Ryan Scott getting into the Movember spirit. See 3 runners on the penalty spot here as Mustafi swings it in and out of play. Well, the delivery's been pinpoint today for at least the first half, but first time Aiden Mustafi has put it into a good area. Lawton, the substitute, came on for the injured Luke Jago. Brooks. A little roulette from Romero, but he can't get away from Ollie Wigan. He cemented his spot in the side after returning from his second ACL injury in June. Tchaikovsky, that injury struggles of his own, had to wait the best part of 2 years to make his Preston debut. Missed his entire first season. Shoulder reconstruction, all sorts of setbacks. Now there's a problem for Sir Dennis. Might just be cramped for the young man. Let's hope so. He was up early, Sir Dennis. When Pachevsky went underneath him, that's what they refer to as tunnelling in another football code. He's going to be assessed for a calf problem from the looks of things. The last thing Preston need is another injury. They do have Luke Francis in reserve, who's usually first choice in the striker role. Signed mid-season from Wynnum Wolves after 2 prolific years in Queensland. Lujicevski and Christian Kristevski still in good humour on the sideline, and that's all they should be given the scoreline. Looks like they've got the pickle juice out for Giorgio Sir Dennis, and he'll be okay. Preston down to 10 only for a moment, so Dennis has been allowed back on the field. Scott lumps it up the pitch. Preston will pounce on the second ball. Oh, that's a great touch from Romero. Brooks has taken it wide. 3 to aim for in the box. Brooks with the delivery. It's straight onto the head of Pachevsky. Lawton might make something a second ball here. He's a terrier contesting that one, but eventually Grant Cornwell scrambled it clear for Spirit. Negro. Is that a go for goal from Stefan Negro? If it was audacious. I think he was just trying to put it over the top for Disu Bay. We've had 2 halfway line spectaculars so far in the Australian Championship, so players are obviously aware of the possibility. Well marshalled by Dom Felino into touch. Wigan. Skips clear of Brooks, but he's stuck in the corner. Oh, that's incredible skill from Ollie Wigan. And the play will go on with Spirit, and Kyra's in there, and he's denied. How did Ollie Wigan wriggle free there? It looked like an impossible situation in the corner with 2 defenders for company. Brilliant skill in the tight area. Almost made a goal back for the Spirit. Meanwhile, it's a bad clearance from Nicholas that's led in Romero. Oh, Negro brought down by Nicholas, was he? Referee not interested. It's Negro making the most of the contact there. Tchaikovsky, Foligno. Pace of this one stepped up a notch. That's a shallow back pass from Cornwell. Whipped in and repelled by Chris Marks, I should say. It was Leighton Brooks with the dangerous cross-turn shot. The chest of Kyra. Great push and touch for Afuka. Takami, good feet past Brandon Lawton. Back heel for Mustafi, who's got time to measure this ball into the box. He's going to go at Stefan Negro instead. Fancy footwork from Mustafi. There's no one attacking the near post. Oh, two Spirit players got in each other's way, and Preston could be in on the break. Bayu, Sir Dennis. Back to Adisu Bayu. Across the box, Sir Dennis couldn't apply the finishing touch. He didn't continue his run. Glorious opening there for Preston. 3-0 would be a very flattering scoreline for the visitors. Spirit are laying it all on the line at the moment and leaving gaps at the back as a result. Is that a foul on the edge of the box? Declan Wood says no, and that's a clean challenge too from Connor Starbo. Fabulous recovery. Kyra ready to attack it at the far stick. It's off Foligno. A corner and a chance to exhale. End-to-end stuff at Christie Park. Absolutely absorbing viewing. There's the prime seats on the balcony there behind the goal. This place is buzzing today. Support for both sides. As Pachevsky wins the first header again. Negro has taken the captain's armband. And Marcus Schroen in the squad today, who's the club captain. And obviously Jego going off with the injury. Again, they win the first header, Spirit. And again, they can't do anything with it. Been so effective with peeling off to the back stick and getting unmarked. That time it was Aiden Kyra. Again, Preston's clean sheet remains intact by hook or by crook. They've had that man to thank. Ryan Scott has, since his departure from the Newcastle Jets, returned to his day job as a brickie. So he's up at the crack of dawn and then playing at 8:30 p.m. kickoffs at BT Connor Reserve on Friday nights. It's a tough old slog being a semi-professional NPL player, especially when you've tasted the comforts of full professionalism at the top level. Ellie Wigan throws the step over. Switch of play, but Negro was equal to it. Preston absorb wave after wave of yellow shirts bearing down on their goal. Shown a lot of guts and a lot of gumption today. Maybe a slice of fortune or two. Quickly taken throw, but Romero, after turning his back on the play, ends up with the ball. Pachevsky onto the loose one. Kyra. Pachevsky joining the attack. Wigan. Wigan strikes for goal. It's off Tchaikovsky, who scrambled out from central defence to block that one. There's been a lot of shots that have flown into him today. Almost as many as been saved by Scott. Kavanagh. Connor Starbo, what can he do down the right? It's the beating of Lawton, but the angle was too narrow. downfield from Scott. And the ball comes straight back the other way. Spirit happy to leave 3-on-3 at the back at the moment. Wigan loves a step over. Don Felino is not full. Such a powerful runner, Ollie Wigan. We've seen so much of the ball on that right-hand side today. It's only a matter of time before he can find an attacker in the middle. It's the other flying wing back from Spirit to take this corner again. Mustafi. Post delivery, Pachevsky's waiting. Now there's a problem for Jake Trajkovski. Maybe a clash of heads with his teammate? Could be friendly fire. He's appealing for an elbow, but if it was an elbow, it came from Matt Bozanovsky. So the referee can't do anything about that, Jake. He wasn't to know. Maybe Matt Bozanovsky wasn't prepared to fess up. Sevsky in game number 301 for him as a head coach. Still prowling in his dugout. He knows just how badly Preston need 3 points. If Spirit score 1, their tails will be up. Stoffy rising highest. Romero. Jason Romero. Just poised, waited for his moment. Negro opted for the cross there. Lawton was in space in the pocket. Felino size up his options. In swinger from the makeshift left back. Kubalay, Lawton. Brooks is free on the left. Good ball in. Sir Dennis couldn't make contact. Negro with another delivery into the back post. Cornwell away this time. Only taken just a touch at the near stick to deceive Giorgio Sir Dennis there. He's ready to fly in with the diving header. Another chance now as Adisu Bayu was second favourite to that one for Chris Marks. By Takami. No whistle for Spirit. And the Western United man, Adisu Bayu, dispossessed that time. He got his first Preston goal in his first competitive start away at Canberra, Croatia. There's a really deft chip over the on-rushing keeper and the young man who has had all sorts of injury problems in his career to date. Probably would still be playing at A-League level if it wasn't for his injury struggles. Bayu. A shout for handball. More from spectators than players though. Negro. Bayu. Lofted delivery. Brooks onto the first header. A hand cleared. Conestabo hooks it in the direction of Kyra, who lost his footing. And he charges at Dom Felino. He can't find the return ball from Leighton Brooks. Wigan put too much on it for Takami. Kubalay steps in. Dangerous attack now for Preston. Felino hesitated and then had to take it on his left. It's cushion for Romero. Negro wants it in the middle. Romero turned back into traffic. Kavanagh away. Oh, beautifully weighted from Kavanagh. It's Conestabo. It's Bozanovsky almost into his own net. It just brushes the side netting on its way behind. Michael Conestabo has had few openings today. It was a beautifully measured ball. It would have been a tap in for Afuka, if not the outstretched leg of the towering Matthew Bozanovsky. Change tack off this corner and have Takami come over and put his right foot on this. An outswinger. He stands it up to Kyra, who's unmarked. Aiden Kyra. Body's diving in the way. How does he keep getting free? Just peeling off to the back stick every time. The movement is so clever. And you can see he just leaves Giorgio Serdenis behind. Young Giorgio gets his body in the way and recovers in time. He's a clever striker, Aiden Kyra, and he's been a constant threat. Starbo's ball in. Rather it was Takami. Cornwell. No flag for offside against the captain. Takami. As well to hold off Brooks. Fuka. An unfamiliar position. Now Takami, laid off by Kyra. Connor Starbo, almost into his path. I think it was Stefan Nigro who got a foot in. And Preston's resilience in their back line, their last-ditch defending has been so crucial in this second half. Ryan Scott with a voice from the back and the claim. What a blue chip recruit in the mid-season window for Preston. They were struggling in goal. They had Ryan Scott's namesake Bond Scott early in the campaign, no relation. Lucas Trenkovsky take up the jersey this season. Ryan Scott has come in the mid-season window and made that spot his own, as you'd expect from a player with his experience. Oh, it's a poor back pass from Connor Starbo, just mishit it. Well, that's an awful late challenge. Preston will take the advantage though, maybe further punishment for Connor Starbo in a moment as Romero chases it down. It's a good advantage paid by the referee. Romero's run into a cul-de-sac. Lawton. Trakowski. Stefan Nigro. Leighton Brooks popping up on the right flank now. A decent delivery too. Jamie Kuchevsky so often is the free defender, and now I think we will see some further disciplinary action. So there was definitely a booking shown there from Declan Woods for Michael Conostarbo. There's that challenge again on Sir Dennis. Well, he knew they were in trouble defensively, Conostarbo, and he flew in there. Kuchevsky, confident play from him. Conostarbo sends it wide. Conostarbo. Poor giveaway from Trakowski. Kyra. Kyra goes for goal. Almost went out for a throw-in. It's been so threatening today. He just hasn't had the end product, Aiden Kyra. Against his former club. His mid-season signing in an injury nightmare campaign for Preston in then NPL2, now known as VPL1. Plenty to ponder for Luca Falcone as he thinks about substitutions in this second half. He's got Ethan De Bono or Harry Keys he can bring on, maybe Kai Denton, who's been the starting striker through the first 3 games. Might do something off the bench, play the role that Aiden Kyra has in the last 2 weeks. Different sorts of strikers. Kai Denton, fast and physical. Kyra so clever with his build-up play, his back to goal, his movement in the penalty area. Kavanagh. Still going Kavanagh. Still got Preston hemmed in here on the edge of their penalty area. 20 minutes plus stoppages to play at Christie Park. Still, Preston's clean sheet intact. A double from Jason Romero in the first half, the difference. Delicate ball from Mafuka. Conestabbo. No whistle. Well, the assistant and the central referee were right on the spot. Well, there's a Preston player down, but the visitors will want the advantage here as Romero puts it into space for Brooks. Leighton Brooks has Bayou in the middle and can't find him. Lawton. To traffic and Takami comes up with the block. Giorgio Serdenis on the end of some contact for the upteenth time today. I think Preston might be readying some changes. Looks like Gian Albano is standing by the 4th official. That's a miscontrol. Was there a phantom whistle in the crowd there? That's going to be a yellow card for Jamie Pachevsky. Maybe the phantom whistle was from the mouth of Jamie Pachevsky. Well, that is a bookable offence. Definitely heard something over the effects, Mike. Was it from the crowd? Was it from one of the players on the park? Preston stopped, but the play hadn't. Well, that's a stab in the dark on my part, but I think Jamie Pachevsky has gone into the book for pretending to whistle, for impersonating the referee. Well, that's a new one. That's incredible. It's going to be a change here. Gian Albano has come on. Giorgio Serdenis replaced by Luke Francis. And a reversal of the previous substitution that took place last week. I'm going to make a quadruple change here. So Jason Romero, the goal-scoring hero, has come off for Jonas Markovski as well. And Connor Bell will make his entrance. Leighton Brooks going to the bench. I believe that means Preston are changing their entire front 4. Platoon swap for both sides. Michael Conestabbo replaced by Harry Keys. Hayden Mustafi has gone to the bench as well. With Simon Nicholas moving a bit further forward into that left wing-back position. And Kaya Williams will play on the left-hand side of the back 3. So, a fresh look for both teams as we head into the game's final stanza. Wigan and has the energy, the directness to earn a corner. Chevsky has had an eventful afternoon. He'll wander forward for the set piece. Here's the aerial target again. Bozanovsky in the middle of a pack of players gets the clearing header. He's the tallest man on the park, as well he should. From De Bono. And it back to Nicholas to cross. Header straight into the arms of Ryan Scott. Afuka. There was a real curve on that ball. It looked like it was heading straight out of play from our angle. Had to be swept up by Dom Felino. Well, as things stand, Victoria's supreme record of over New South Wales looks set to continue as Wiggins swings it in. No telling touch at the far post for Simon Nicholas. Andre Takami's got through a power of running today. But in the NPL era, this is comparing top division sides only between NPL New South Wales and NPL Victoria. New South Wales only has one win. That was Apia over Port Melbourne Sharks back in 2018. So they're 7 years without a win. And the record, if Preston hold on here for a victory, will stand at 1 win for New South Wales, 3 draws, and 13 wins for NPL Victoria. So the sides from south of the border are once again proving just how strong they are. Plenty of close calls. Heidelberg were behind last night against Marconi for 1. South Melbourne came from behind to beat Sydney Olympic yesterday. Kyra. Kyra swings it in. Dealt with. He's stayed on the pitch despite that raft of attacking substitutions. Williams. Started last week, Williams, when Jamie Pachevsky was injured. Luke Francis sounds like he's in some pain. Albano. He's holding his head as well, so we're going to have to stop the game. Physio is on for Luke Francis. It's only just on the pitch. He's in the aerial challenge with Kavanagh. Like he just headed the ball maybe the wrong way. Let's have another look at this sandwich between 2 defenders. Struck him right on the top of the head, which can be a really painful one if it catches you in the wrong spot. So some concern over, or is he holding, must have lowered down there. Maybe an awkward landing. Injury concerns abound for Preston today. Luke Jego is off to hospital. Luke Francis might be off the pitch if this is a one he can't come back from. Not sure what the injury is. Yeah, so it's not a head injury. He's obviously just landed awkwardly as he stumbled backwards there. It's got to be a muscle problem, maybe in the hip or groin. So Preston will have to replace their centre forward with a central defender. Damian Bozanovsky is on. Will it prompt a positional reshuffle for Preston? Maybe to a back three? Certainly not going up front. So Luke Francis barely had a kick at the football before he was replaced. And Damian Bozanovsky is going to play as a defensive midfield player, with Brandon Lawton pushing into the number 10 role and Jason Romero playing up top. It's been a costly afternoon for Preston injury-wise, regardless of the result today. Perhaps the synthetic surface has not been kind to the visitors. They're not used to playing on it. Floating ball straight to the goalkeeper. Williams first to the header. Bozanovsky. Get Kavanagh in the back there, he did. Heavy fall for Corey Kavanagh. Preston 9 minutes plus stoppages away from their first win in New South Wales in 35 years. Kavanagh swings it in. That number in perspective. As Preston try and build a counter-attack. Ball forward by Bozanovsky. Jonas Markovsky battling for it. Sent wide. Spirit on the advance. Foligno. Oh, Harry Keyes just showed him too much of the ball. To put that number in perspective, 35 years. Louis Etsevsky, the head coach of the Preston Lions, and the man who's coached 300 games, was still 5 years away from making his competitive debut as a goalkeeper when Preston last won an away game in New South Wales. It's been a long time between drinks, to say the least. Relegated from the NSL in 1993. Never made it to the Australia Cup national stages. The inception of that tournament came when Preston were well down the ranks in the state leagues. And this could be a significant milestone. Spirit looking to mount a late comeback. Preston will be all too aware after round one that it's not over until it's over against Northwest Sydney Spirit. Flicked on, dangerously so. Foligno taking no chances. Jack Tchaikovsky on his haunches. He's had a busy afternoon in his home state. Going to be changes from the sounds of things. Takumi Afuka has been replaced. Long throw coming in. Good distance on it. Markovsky contorting his body to clear the ball. Wozanovski first to the loose one. I believe that's Kai Denton who's come on. Yes, the number 9. So both strikers on the park. The Spirit flick on straight into the arms of the goalkeeper. And they've got first contact on so many of their set pieces today. That'll be something for the Preston coaching staff to review during the week. Visitors, under all sorts of pressure, have just been more clinical today. That's a magic back heel from Wigan. Kavanagh's ball into the box. Tchaikovsky. It's not his first dazzling piece of skill this afternoon. Only Wigan. He's a live wire. Up against Connor Bell. Himself a centurion for Preston. Which came away at Lakeside this season. His 100th game for the club. Been involved in all 3 of their promotion campaigns, despite a spell away from the club when he was stuck in the UK and couldn't play in 2021 due to the COVID lockdowns. Cornwell. '21 was the season where Jamie Pachevsky played a handful of games for Preston, 8 appearances. Down in NPL 3, Preston were top of the table when the season was suspended due to COVID lockdowns being reinforced in Victoria. Hasn't he had an eventful afternoon, Jamie Pachevsky? Eventful career too. Played in Germany, played as a youth international for Macedonia against some of the continent's best. Marked the likes of Moise Kean, Callum Hodgson-Odoi, Kavica Kvaratskhelia, to name a few. He's actually involved in a serious car crash that brought his time in Germany to an end. That one's out of play for Brandon Lawton, despite an opportunistic attempt on goal. Jamie Pachevsky says he's riding his bike to the train station to take the train to training when he was hit by a car, and he's done incredibly to bounce back from that life-threatening injury to resume his career. Got the assist for Caleb Jackson-Brown for Spirit's equaliser at Jenna Steele Stadium in round 1. It's actually a lovely weighted through ball. Wouldn't know it, but he was a central defender based on that touch alone. Classy operator at the back. They might send him forward as an emergency centre forward late in the game if Spirit is still chasing 2 goals to get back into this. Foligno's been solid all afternoon in a defensive sense. Markovsky's gone up front. And now Albano has Connor Bell arriving in the middle. Lawton wants the cut back. Albano will go for goal himself. Marks with a save and then followed in by Brandon Lawton to make it 3-0 to the Preston Lions. And that should do it for Macedonia on the road. It's been the ultimate road underdog display from Preston. They've soaked up so much pressure. And now the travelling supporters have something to sing about. Albano forced a brilliant stop from Marks from an acute angle, but he parried it straight back into the danger zone. And Brandon Lawton arriving late. A lung-busting run from deep midfield to be in the right place at the right time, to tuck it into the unguarded net and make it Preston Lions 3, Northwest Sydney Spirit 0. A scoreline that scarcely reflects the flow of the game, but Preston will see as a reward for their resilience and clinicality. That's Brandon Lawton's second goal of 2025. When he does score, they tend to be important goals. Absolute screamer to win a game against North Geelong Warriors in 2024. PT Connor. As Ryan Scott comes to the edge of his box. Lawton also scored in the promotion deciding game away at Lawton Park against Langwarrin. A venue that is his namesake, albeit a different spelling. At Lawton Park. A famous goal for Preston, only bettered by Connor Bell's sealing effort in the dying moments of that game that sent Preston back to the top flight for the first time in 16 years. It's going to be 6 minutes up on the board. And you feel as if the sting has gone out of the Spirit resistance here. Certainly the home supporters have lost a bit of a pep in their step as Jamie Pachevsky is penalised for handball. I'm sure Preston will dedicate this victory to their stricken captain, Luke Jego. He will certainly be requiring surgery and a long recovery from the horrific broken leg we saw in the first half that brought play to a close. A much loved figure at the Preston Lions. That's the dampener. The injuries to Jego and Francis on an otherwise superb afternoon as Ethan De Bono looks to reply for Spirit. Long range try, oh wow! That's a special goal. Goodness me. Simon Nicholas picks out the top corner. Up where the Spiders live, if you don't mind. He barely celebrates. It may just be a consolation. But the Spirit players are thinking in their back of their minds, you're telling me there's a chance. Simon Nicholas with one of the goals of the tournament. Wowee. It's all happening at Christie Park. Lawton threads it through for Preston. Connor Bell sees his cross blocked by Pachevsky. Preston corner. Such an incredible goal from Simon Nicholas. Spectators at Christie Park, home supporters and travelling away fans alike will be picking their jaws up off the floor. Bravo. The only player who's started all 32 games this season in the outfield for Spirit. In fact, all 31 NPL games and all 3 championship games. And that's his first goal since April 2024, Simon Nicholas. So he doesn't score many. Goodness me, when he does. He's been saving that one up for a long time. Through looking for Kai Denton. Goal kick the verdicts. Does Preston try and wind the clock down? Well, it was always going to take something incredible to beat Ryan Scott today, who's been inspired. But he can only stand back and applaud as that one hit the underside of the crossbar. On its way in. Postage stamp from Simon Nicholas. De Bono rolls it into the path of his centre forward. Oh, Harry Keys, he wasn't too far away. Ethan De Bono there would have had an assist. Maltese Youth International. Harry Keys is a good story as well. He's been with Spirit since under 15s. He's identified in their local association, playing for Ryde Panthers as a junior. Went into the system at under 13s and then officially made the transition to Spirit in under 15s. He's played at every level all the way up the ranks, as so many of these Spirit players have. They've got a proud youth development pipeline at the club. Denton earning the free kick. Kubalay is going to go into the book here, standing in front of the free kick. I think Oli Kubalay knew what he was doing there. With the ball in, half a shout for handball off Bozanovsky. Home supporters were crying out for it. Wigan. And they're cleared as far as Kyle Williams. Denton. One throw from Kai Denton. Volleyed away by Foligno. And that is full time. And Preston Lions reignite their Australian Championship campaign with a 3-0 win away at Christie Park. A result that doesn't tell the full story by any measure. 3-1, I should say. Simon Nicholas with the late reply in stoppage time that was almost an afterthought. But what a goal it was. Jason Romero with a first half double to give Preston the half-time advantage. Brandon Lawton sealing the 3 points with a late third. And then Simon Nicholas. We'll be watching that highlight over and over. It proved immaterial, but it was a spectacular curling effort from way downtown that picked out the top corner. But the important thing is that Preston have vaulted Spirit into second spot here. They've gone from bottom of the group to a quarter-final place. And it will come down to the final 2 weeks to see which of these two sides, or indeed Canberra, Croatia, will progress from this group. Avondale at the top, but it's Preston who win on the road. Their first win in New South Wales in 35 years. Final score, Northwest Sydney Spirit 1, Preston Lions 3. Let's take a look at some of the decisive moments in this second half. After Jason Romero's first half double, this is the breakaway goal for Preston after soaking up all that pressure, and two substitutes combined. Gian Albano standing up his marker, forcing the reflex stop out of Chris Marks, and Brandon Lawton with a lung-busting run from deep midfield onto the loose ball, unmarked to tuck it home, and an unerring finish as well from the former Melbourne Victory player to put Preston 3 goals to the good. But the Spirit reply is well worth a look. Did it matter in the final equation? Not really, although goal difference could be important in this group. But Simon Nicholas, my goodness. It's De Bono who was dispossessed. Damien Bozanovsky stabbed it forward. And Nicholas had one thing on his mind, the top corner. Ryan Scott made so many incredible stops this afternoon, but even a goalkeeper of his supreme quality had no chance with that one. A consolation, but some consolation indeed for Northwest Sydney Spirit and Simon Nicholas. Here's the full-time stats, and you can see how Spirit have peppered the Preston goal today. 28 shots to 15, though Preston had more on target. So you can see the story there, just more clinical in the final third. 11 corners to 2. Spirit will be wondering how on earth they lost this game. Preston will be saying, well, that's what you do when you're away from home. You soak up pressure and you take your chances when they arise. It was a really open game and a really good watch. These are the results from across the weekend. Marconi and Heidelberg level. Canberra, Croatia in Preston's group losing 4-1 at home to Avondale, which puts Avondale top of the pile in Group C. South Melbourne will await the team that can sneak into second spot with Sydney Olympic leading but losing to Hellas. They've won 4 from 4. And then all the results today. Goals flying in left, right and centre. Wollongong Wolves 3-2 winners over South Hobart. Bayswater City holding on to win 3-2 against 10-man Sydney United. So let's see what it's done to the tables. South Melbourne and Moreton City sit in the quarterfinal spots in Group A. South Melbourne are already through, so they can rotate in their final 2 group games. Heidelberg perched atop of Group B, unbeaten. Marconi a point ahead of Wollongong after Wollongong's win against South Hobart today. They were made to work for it, though. South Hobart coming from 2 goals down before Wollongong won it. Avondale top of the pile in Group C. All 4 teams still with a chance of progression. Preston really needed to win today, and they got it done when it counted. They are ahead of Northwest Sydney Spirit now on goal difference. Bayswater City top of the pile in Group D after their win today over Sydney United, who are staring down the barrel of elimination, almost mathematically so on goal difference, as you can see. Well, that brings the action to a close here at Christie Park this afternoon. From the ridiculous, the heartbreaking, to the sublime, we've seen just about everything. Our thoughts are with Luke Jago as he embarks on his recovery. But Preston Lions are the victors. Jason Romero with a double, Brandon Lawton with the sealer, a late Simon Nicholas reply, all that Spirit could muster. It's their first win of their Australian Championship campaign for the Preston Lions. They win in New South Wales for the first time in 35 years by 3 goals to 1.